Hey, how's it going, guys? So today I'm going to be making a video about Reyna and how you should approach using her when ranked comes out and the way you should be thinking. She is the newest character since the game released. She is a lot of fun. She is a duelist, so she is made to engage first, be super aggressive, basically just try to kill everything. She's insane. She's a lot of fun to play, but it's going to take a little bit to understand her abilities. Her leer is good and bad. It's good because it can go through walls, it can go through boxes, it can be placed in a lot of different places that people won't be expecting, and you can swing on it and they're going to be nearsighted. Not blind, but nearsighted, so instead of the screen being completely white, you can see the eyeball and you will be able to shoot it. It does not take a lot to break it, but just long enough to distract somebody to where you could swing and get that one tap on them. Her devour, so you have to buy these charges here, same with the C, but Q and E share charges. Q, you have to absorb the soul and keep line of sight. It's good because you can be overhealed, but at the same time, people can see this trail that comes from the body to you, so they kind of have an idea where you're at. So you can heal up all the way, or you can grab some and then just try to retreat to cover. When you are in Empress, which is her ulti, this automatically happens, so you don't have to stick around. You're just going to automatically heal. Her E makes you invincible. When you're not in Empress, you can be seen. You're like a shadow form, and you float around. You're not able to use your gun, but this is a good tool for if you kill somebody and there's somebody else there, kind of either retreat behind cover or get to a spot where you can take advantage of killing the next person. So if there's 3 people there, you can kill one, do this and get behind cover, and then get ready to peek again. If you have a C up, throw it, try to blind, and then she's super aggressive. But her ulti, Empress, is a lot of fun. You gain infinite Qs and Es, so I recommend trying to utilize her E as much as possible during your ulti. She has faster fire rate, she reloads faster, she just turns into a monster. And you have a time limit. It's kind of long. I probably see them reducing it a little bit, but for now it goes on for quite a long time. You can easily last an entire round with it if you were aggressing properly, but the E makes you completely invisible. You can't be seen at all, so you definitely want to utilize doing this and try to get information, do a peek. You can safely peek angles. I have some footage of peeking with the E in her ulti, and you can kind of retreat. It's a very unique tactic, but it's pretty cool. I'll be talking about some of my gameplay and the way that I've been thinking and how I usually think and approach games. I treat competitive shooters more like a game of chess than who's better at shooting. That's how I was able to get pretty high in rank, and just that's kind of how I think about games like this. I might not have the best shot, but I try to outthink whoever I'm playing and put the situation the way that I want it versus having a situation thrown at me. So here's some gameplay, and we'll be talking a little bit about what I'm doing and what I'm thinking about as it goes on. Alright, so to start out, pistol round, I usually buy Ghost with her just because she's gonna get the heal after you get that first kill, and then I push in and peek with the leer to clear for my team as we push in. Somebody called Heaven there, so hit him with a wall bang, try to get a lucky shot. The plant, and so after you plant, you want to get into a position where your team is not. So I know that Cypher's holding the breakable door. Sage is going to be playing Heaven, and I'm just kind of watching on the flank, and I'm there for support. We see that Omen throws a flash out of breakable door, and I know that he's going to need help, so I swing on it. And Sage is there to follow up as well. So this next part is where I get the ace, and I'm just trying to pay attention to where everyone died on the map, and who's going to be coming from where. I knew Jet was on the flank because somebody on my team had called that they died over at A, and here I popped the Empress because I know I'm about to have to get into several gunfights, and the timer will last the entire time. You can see above my bullets there's a little circle that tells you how much longer you have. I throw my leer to push myself into mid here. I knew there was going to be at least one mid, and the overheal starts happening immediately after the 2 kills. I figure this guy's playing the spike, and then he gives himself away right there by doing the breach. He heard me coming. I was sprinting to try to get him to aggress, and it worked, and that kind of gave it away. That's one thing that you can do most of the time, especially like lower elo. People will start to fret whenever they hear somebody running at them, and then they're gonna aggress, but you're already ready for it because you know that somebody could be by the spike because they had spike down and they saw that spike was there. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind, and it'll help push through the lower elos. Just don't be afraid to be a little bit aggressive, because some people are not used to having to clutch around and they get a little nervous. Fortunately, I don't really have to deal with that. But here, what I was trying to do, since I knew I was out of ammo on my sniper and she had a better gun, I was just going to play ring around the rosy with her. Sometimes it's better than going for the kill. It's just wasting time. I'm trying to waste time here and listen for the bomb to go to the part where it diffuses, or where she can't diffuse it. And there she has a good strafe, and she definitely outstrafed me, but I wasted just enough time to where she died from it. So sometimes wasting time is better than challenging a gunfight, especially if they have a Vandal Phantom and you're out of ammo and you're operator and you have a classic. Like, if they have a decent shot, you're gonna lose that fight 100% of the time. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Here I had the spike and we had called a rotate, and I know they're both at A, so I fall off. And the cool mechanic on this map is you can close doors to kind of slow down a push. And here I'm always looking to plant in the open. I don't like planting behind a box or any of that unless I absolutely have to, just to get the spike down. But planting in the open helps if you need to peek it later so that you can swing and they don't have cover when they're trying to defuse the bomb. So that's a good way to start thinking about how to plant the bomb. I see a lot of people plant the bomb, or sorry, spike, where it's behind cover and it's not in the best position to re-peek it. It would be better if you were to plant it somewhere where it's advantageous if you have to go hide somewhere and you can swing on it, unless you plan on playing the site. I know I just talked about not planting behind a box, but here I planted behind the box just to get the bomb down and try to aggress because there's one guy left, so we're trying to force him on the site here. We have 3 people that are going to fall onto him, and the spike is planted for Sage on that side. Brimstone uses his ult to delay time here. If the guy was sticking the bomb, he's definitely dead. The Omen knows that there's 2 people left and he can't stick it, so we're just trying to push together here and make sure he doesn't get the defuse. But one thing I do recommend is try doing something different than you see what everyone else does. It usually will work in your favor, especially when it comes to planting the spike or just changing up your angle. I always recommend trying to at least change something that you do every round so that they can't pick up on a pattern that you have. If you're doing the same thing every single round, you're not making it a challenge for the enemy team to have to think about what you're doing or where you're going or what angle you're holding. You do the same thing every round. At higher elos, you get called out. They're going to tell you, oh, well, we know this person plays here every single round. So they don't even have to think about you. They know exactly what you're doing. That's why I try to switch it up, be in weird corners or on a box, or I'm always trying to switch what I'm doing so there's no way that they can know what I'm doing. And that also goes with like flanking. You don't want to flank the same thing every single round, or they're going to start calling that too, even though that you could be in a different spot. If you're doing the same push every single time, then they're going to know that and they're going to call you out for it. Another thing you can do if you're playing against Reyna, which is what I did there, is she was doing the leer every single round at mid. So I leered back to counter her blind for my team so that they could maybe get a different angle, because you have to have line of sight on the leer for it to blind you. It's not area of effect, it is line of sight. So I knew that she'd been doing that the last 3 rounds, so I switched it up and went mid, threw my leer out to blind their team and waste their time, because they have to shoot mine, which gave my team time to shoot theirs, and then the blinds are gone. So kind of cancels it out, and then after that it's whoever has the better angle and gets the shots off. Another thing that some of my friends struggle with is they will shoot a gun once or twice and only use 5 or 7 bullets and are reloading, and at the time that they're reloading they will get killed. And it's okay to run low on a magazine. Most of the time it only takes 2 or 3 bullets to kill somebody, so there's no need to reload. Like here, I got caught off a little bit, but I still was able to kill without having to reload my magazine that entire round. I got 2 kills from that and did 39 damage. So that's something that people need to have just mentally in the back of their head, that they don't need to be reloading after they shoot 2 or 3 bullets, because what happens if you get in a team fight and you're in the middle of reloading, you know? Here, my shot wasn't on, so I decided to fall off and go on a flank and mix it up. And I'm always looking at the map to pay attention to where everyone's going and who's dying and who's living, so that I can set myself up in a better position to help my team. Somebody had called Spike was on, I guess they're calling this catwalk right now, on Ascent. And Omen had no idea where I was, and he fell off. So I just put myself in this random position where he's not going to check, because he's thinking about grabbing the spike and he has no idea where I'm at. He probably assumes that I rotated back through B, and I just kind of wait, and my teammate is getting in a better position and kind of checking his angles and making sure he's not on the flank, and I get lucky here. Omen didn't check his corner and teleported in because he was scared about getting peeked through the doorway. To me, it's all about a mental game and how you think about it and how you approach every round. The ulti noise that your character makes is global, so everyone can hear it, so that immediately adds pressure to the round, because they're worried about where you're at. And then you kill somebody and they kind of call you out and they're worried about it. But I peek mid there with my E to try to get some information to see if they're going to swing on mid, and then I go back to B because I'd fallen off. The only thing that's kind of hard about her ulti is trying to control the recoil on your guns, because it has a higher rate of fire, so it's a little bit different than normal recoil. But once you get used to it, she's just insane. She's a monster. But I just really recommend taking your time, learning the maps, getting down the mechanics of your character, going to custom, practice using them, like practice different angles. Like right now, why ranked is not out is a good time to start practicing different strategies, different techniques. Look at different spots on the map where you think it could be a good place to hold or try to flank, things like that. So you got to keep a lot of stuff in mind while you're doing this, but always check your map. Communicate. Good communication with your team can help win rounds over somebody that's good at gunfighting. Try not to reload as often. And keep in mind, like, when you're doing your placements, there's going to be a lot of new players that don't have the map knowledge of people in the beta. So if you're one of those people that didn't get in the beta, I would recommend going into the maps, learning them yourselves, watching content to try to see where the best places are and what you can be doing. But other than that, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm always willing to help out. I only made it to, I think, Diamond 2 or Diamond 3 during the beta ranked, but I've got a team that wants to try to hit Immortal when rank comes out, so we'll see how that goes. But thanks for hanging out, and y'all have a good day.